Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be doing a full AQ map 7 run. I believe this is day 3 or 4, I'm not entirely sure anymore. But anyway, so section 1 we are on Footloose path, which is fairly annoying, but you can play around it with majority of the characters. Section 2 we have can't stop, won't stop node, which is famously annoying, and section 3 we have tunnel vision, which is also somewhat annoying, but it's not that bad. So against Footloose, so here the first fight, I'm using Nick Fury against this guy just because I can kind of like block bait his heavy attacks. I have some extra health to play around with, and even though if I'm running suicides, still I'm not too worried about losing some health on Nick Fury. And so once he does launch a special attack, he goes unstoppable. He also has a high chance to evade my attacks. Therefore, basically, I just need to wait those things out and then drop a level 2, stun him, get in that inner bleed, ideally, but no, yes, we did manage here. And now I'm just gonna wait till he bleeds out, basically, at this point. So not a difficult fight at all for Nick Fury here. Can be somewhat annoying just because you can't really parry him. He's gonna reflect stun on you so long as he has armor break, and he has 90% armor from the node. So yeah, that's there. And now next fight against Red Skull, and we're going to be charging up our Captain Marvel in this fight. So she has this one initial fight where you have to kind of play slower, take a lot of parries, take some hits in block just to get to 25 binary charges, and then you can start dealing some decent damage. As you guys probably have noticed, this time we do not have Goldpool with us on our team, but we have Rogue instead. And why is that? It's quite simply because of Captain Marvel's synergy with Rogue, and that is whenever we enter our binary, we also go unstoppable for 4 seconds, I believe, and on can't stop, won't stop, your unstoppable time basically is doubled. So those 8 seconds we're going to be trying to deal as much damage as we can against these can't stop, won't stop opponents in tier 2, but for now that synergy doesn't really matter in this part of the game. We just need to ramp up our Captain Marvel, then we can go ham on this Red Skull and hopefully finish him within that like level 2 or a combo afterwards. So at this point I'm just trying to bait out his level 1 just in case I won't be able to finish him off straight up with my level 2. I'm nearly at 25 charges, now we're at 25 charges, couple hits, 1 level 2, he's at 15%, 1 hit, heavy attack, he's nearly dead, 1 more hit, 32 hits, and that is pretty much the longest fight you have to do with Captain Marvel. That's a ramp up fight. So you can definitely imagine that the rest of the opponents are going to drop fairly quickly for us. And now next opponent for us in tier 1 is Wolverine. There's nothing too difficult about this guy. He has like enhanced regeneration and strike back alongside with this Footloose node. So I'm just going to take in my Nick Fury. Once again, he's a bit expendable for most part because he is good against tunnel vision node, but I kind of want him to be dead at that point already anyways. So I do have some spare health to play about with here, which is fairly kind of relaxing when it comes to map 7, just to have this extra health pool to play about and not worrying too much if you take some extra block damage or if you mess up here and there, because when we are gonna get to section 3 we want him to be already dead like once, and we want to fight with actual Nick Fury. So as you can see, this Wolverine is going down slowly but surely. Whenever he's unstoppable, I'm still dropping this one medium attack just to get that bleed going. These bleeds also help me mitigate his regeneration just with Despair Mastery, so that's definitely helpful as well for Nick Fury. Now we finished the combo with Light just to get that big bleed, and another combo finished with Light. He's at 10%, there are a couple of heals, but he's still gonna bleed out relatively quickly, I bet. I could have dropped my level 3 at this point, I'm quite sure it would kill him, but I ended up playing a bit patiently. That's one of my bigger problems in IQ, because I always try to rush these fights and I often end up eating like a level 3 or just making a silly mistake. But now we're going to deal with this Hulkbuster. We have 23 ignition charges here, 1 parry, we're already in binary, we're starting to deal massive amounts of damage immediately. We're going to drop our level 2 here, we can see that his health is absolutely flying away, and that is like a later day in AQ. Now here is going to be like one mistake I did in fact make. I should not have kind of like stopped, because I would nearly push him to level 3. But still, it's a small mistake, nothing too major kind of. And at this point he has some armor, but we still crit through it and finished off this fight relatively well. We lost a bit of health in section 1, and now I'm basically going to bed, because that was my part done for section 1, and now this is already next morning and we're heading to section 2. So obviously, as always, I pretty much sleep through Omega 1 mini boss. It's really hard to kind of get an opening to find Omega Red when in any day of AQ, because everybody just likes to jump on that guy. But anyway, so first fight on Can't Stop, Won't Stop is going to be this Moon Knight. They have changed Can't Stop, Won't Stop to limiting to 75% damage, and also they are increasing our unstoppable durations by 2, so we're going to be unstoppable for like 8 seconds. Now we can see that we're immediately starting to do a lot of damage. We're going to drop a level 2 within this unstoppable, and we can see that Moon Knight's nearly dead already. We didn't quite manage to kill him off, so we have to take care of last 26% with massively hindered damage output, but that's not the worst thing. It kind of gives us a time to recover some binary charges, and yeah, so we just have these 20% to deal with. In initial days, on like first days, you can definitely do this fight really easy, just with that one level 2. Now that was something weird. I have noticed that Captain Marvel has started to whip her heavy attacks. I don't know how it happened, but it definitely has happened a few more times using Captain Marvel as well with me. So there's something odd happening there, but oh well, I'm not gonna pay too much attention to that and just move on. So now next fight is Gwenpool, and I think that is going to be the fight where I make a very silly mistake. Luckily we're gonna manage to survive through this fight. So once again, one parry, we're in our binary, and now at this point I'm using my level 2. As we can see that her health is once again at 23%. But here I got too greedy. I forgot that my unstoppable has expired, and I tried to finish her off, even pushing her at level 3, and I did not succeed because, yeah, of Can't Stop, Won't Stop attack penalty. So I end up eating a massive level 3 from Gwenpool because my indestructible had just worn off as well. Luckily, she does place an armor break on us, and we have willpower healing available, so I kind of want to use it as much as I can. As you can see here, we have healed up to 30%, which isn't too bad. We finish up the fight. So this was like the probably biggest mistake I made in this AQ, but we still managed to finish up the fight, and 30% health should still be more than enough to deal with this Yondu. Now this Yondu again is Can't Stop, Won't Stop, and he starts the fight completely unblockable. Aside from that, there's nothing kind of too tricky about it. Just need to be careful at the beginning of the fight, and obviously Yondu can bleed you through block, and so that is also something that is going to happen in this fight. As you can see here, I did misjudge that parry and we got bleed on us, but whenever we enter binary we do shrug off all debuffs on us. However, here is a problem. I launched my level 2 too late, and at this point our unblockable had worn off already, so I'm gonna have like 60% of this Yondu to deal with. Typically this is like a super easy fight. It's just I did not play it best at all. So at this point I just kind of have to make sure that I keep my binary charges up, and yeah, we do need to slouch through this fight with 25% of our damage output. Luckily, Captain Marvel is no slouch at all, and even with a quarter of her actual damage, we do manage to deal a relatively decent amount of damage. As we saw there, once again, that Captain Marvel heavy attack whiffed. I do not know why it started to do that. It's definitely new. It never used to happen like that before, but I suppose that's what you get when Kabam starts messing about with heavy attack animations and speeds and interactions. So yeah, it's something to kind of keep an eye on for, see how often it actually does happen. It is worrisome, but luckily we didn't get punished. That means that we can still kind of finish off this fight. At this point he's at 27% health, we are on 15% health, so we should be good. There's nothing kind of too tricky about this fight. Just need to make sure we do not exit our binary state, because if we do, it's gonna take a long time to get back in there. And without our binary state, our damage would be fairly bad, especially considering the attack penalty from can't stop, one stop. But here we can see that Yondu is at, well, Yondu is dead now. He was at 5%. So we finished up this fight, and then I was kind of like waiting or something. No, I actually had already Omega Mini down. As you can see here that, yeah, my alliance likes to attack those mini boss. I don't often get too many chances to fight that guy. But today I probably wouldn't have actually tried to fight second Omega Mini boss either, just because I ate that level 3, and yeah, that hurt a lot. So now this path is tunnel vision, so basically I can't launch the same type of attack twice in a row. That is the biggest problem. I will mess up in this fight. That's like a fair spoiler warning, just because Massacre, if I have a debuff on me while he's striking me, all my defensive abilities have 50% ability accuracy reduction. That means your parries sometimes don't land, and here I just got punished by his heavy attack. But at this point something cool is gonna happen. So first things first, even if we have this Falter debuff from the node, we can't miss, because Nick Fury, so long as he has like 5 or more charges on him, he cannot miss an attack. So even with this Falter thing active on us, we can just easily and happily ignore it. Also, since that this class is an actual debuff, we do get willpower heal. So as you can see here, we finished it at max health. Nick Fury can be after the death at 30%, and that is like really interesting. Now for the next fights, I had to change my mastery setup because I was placing Alliance War defense, so I did take off my Suicide Masteries, and that is it. So now without Suicide Masteries, Nick Fury, when he's already dead, is gonna absolutely smash every opponent here, because with Suicide Masteries it's trickier to use him, obviously, just because of the damage you're gonna take from poison and bleed. But now that we have Suicide Masteries switched off and Nick Fury is in his actual Nick Fury phase, we're gonna be mincing through these opponents super quickly. So at this point I'm just spamming some medium heavy attacks, getting some inner bleeds on the guy, because I do not have any charges on me, so I could still miss, but after each level 1 I throw, I basically cannot miss anymore from tunnel vision. So the fights should go basically me getting to a level 1, and then I can fight these fights normally. I do not have to worry about the global node. However, Nick Fury pretty much kills the opponents by the time I get to level 1, so I do not get to experience that too much. Now against this Iron Fist, he starts unblockable, so you do need to be careful at the beginning of the fight. So now I do have Falter debuff on me. I placed it on myself on purpose just to get a bit of willpower heal at the beginning. But now basically I just want to get to level 1, and then we can fight as normal. So now we did manage to get an inner bleed on this Iron Fist, and we launched level 1. So from this point forward I cannot miss, and opponents can't evade me, which is super useful. And now I'm gonna be trying to get this Falter debuff on me on purpose, I think, in a second. Yep, because you know, we always want to keep that health topped up. But yeah, so Iron Fist went down. It was hardly a fight, and now I have only like Loki left on my path, but I still need to wait till he gets unlinked. I wanted to check out what link he has incoming, because maybe I could try to do it linked, but no, Shock I think would kill me before I have the chance to actually shrug it off with Nick Fury. But now that the link has gone down, we're gonna head in the fight with Nick Fury, and once again Nick Fury has really great matchups in this tunnel vision node, just because he can ignore the node plus get a debuff on himself, so he can heal off willpower. But once again, we do need to get to that level 1 first before we do so, and I like to just spam my heavy attacks until such point, just because those inner bleeds do add up and they put in work. So here we drop level 1. From here on out I cannot miss anymore, which is awesome. And I'm getting that willpower heal. Obviously degeneration does kick in whenever I go above 30%, but still it's nice to be topped up at 30%. So 26 hits in, and like half of those hits almost were my level 1, but still. And now we have Thanos. I am patiently waiting for Thanos to be open just because I do want to get a few hits in. I will not have the best Thanos fights here today. I will make some fairly silly slip-ups. I actually finished fighting Thanos kind of like just now, kind of before I started editing this video, so I was also a bit rushing, but no excuses. Once again, I do not really get to fight this guy that often, so I'm still fairly frequently being caught by his reverse control special attacks. But even so, Nick Fury can do some really great damage against this guy because his bleeds just tick away for so much. And yeah, so that's kind of the point here. So I will manage to do this away, but I think next one is gonna clip me, and then I will go in with my Captain Marvel and Rogue, but those won't be any special attempts either, because yeah, it's just gonna be fairly bad gameplay from me. But still, we managed to get through AQ with no items, which is always awesome. Also, can't stop, won't stop is fairly annoying node, so I'm definitely happy that I have Captain Marvel with Rogue synergies that I can use. My only kind of grief is that this week mutants get minus 40% attack, and yeah, so Rogue didn't get to see too much play. I do use her occasionally in some fights, but still, it's not the same. But yeah, that will be more or less done for today. Let me know how you guys are handling map 7 now that the nodes have changed. Is it more interesting for you guys? I did actually quite enjoy this week of AQ, just because it's, you know, change. It's always a bit different. You kind of need to think about different teams, different champions, what you're going to do, how you're going to counter these opponents. Do you think these variation is harder than it used to be? But yeah, I think that will be me more or less done for today. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm just gonna let Captain Marvel fight here in background till the video finishes. But yeah, once again, if you like the video, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about AQ Map 7 and all that other good stuff. And I'm gonna catch you guys soon. Laters.